आचार्य स्तोत्रस्त श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गो श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। संवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग की जय। श्री बृहद भागवतामृतम की जय। श्रील सनातन गोस्वामी पाद की जय। श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामी नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वंदेहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 साधु साधु पदाय नथनी चोचतार कहानां च कदाचिन् मां स्मरत्। हरे कृष्ण। So, Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Part 2, Chapter 3, text number 185. Tanmanayan chivasya jnam ito nisara satvaram Krishna priyatamam Shriman Mathuram Thvam Namamatham. Therefore, honoring the order of Lord Shiva, you should leave this place at once. Go to divine Mathura, the place most dear to Krishna. O Mathura, we bow down to you. Therefore, honoring the order of Lord Shiva, you should leave this place at once. Previously, before these Vaikuntavasis spoke to Gopakumara, Lord Shiva had spoken to him and he had suggested that he should go back to Mathura. And this was not the first time. Every time he goes to certain place, then he is advised to go to Mathura. Then from there again he goes to another higher place. Now he has come to the place of liberation. It's outside material world. So now the next race should be Vaikuntha Loka. So before that again he is advised to go to Mathura. So he is going to go to Mathura now. O Mathura, we bow down to him. Mathuram Thvam Namamatham. Another thing here is Than. The verse begins with Than or Tat. That means therefore, it's concluding. So now Vaikuntavasis, they completed their discourse or their instructions to Gopakumara. Lord Shiva has already advised Gopakumara to leave Mahakalapura and go to Mathura on the earth. Now the Vaikuntha messengers encourage him to do this at once. The very reason they came down from Vaikuntha was to make Gopakumara return to bomb of Vrindavan. In case Gopakumara, having travelled so far to reach the abode of liberation, questions why he should go back to where he started from, the Vaikuntha Dutas assure him that Sri Mathura, Krishna's favorite place, will shower him with the fulfillment of all his ambitions without delay. So in the spiritual context, the place is also non-different from Krishna. So therefore, place means that abode of Krishna, Mathura. So just like Krishna is desire fulfilling, similarly, the abode is also desire fulfilling. Of course, we should not. It's not material desires, spiritual desires. It can give material desires or fulfill material desires also, but that is not the actual goal of. It's not goal of devotional service. So next, Shri Gopakumara Uvacha Nipiya Ratkarna Rasayanam Tat Pramoda Bharena Brato Namamstan Shivaocha Sadyo Vrajabhumi Metam Tai Prapitoham Bata Mugdha Buddhihi. Shri Gopakumara said, upon drinking this invigorating tonic for the ears and heart, I was filled with delight. I bowed down to the messengers from Vaikuntha and to Lord Shiva and his wife, and by their grace I was swept at once to this Vrajabhumi. Oh, how my mind was stunned. Now this verse is in first person, right? He is stating I, right? Instead of it should be, then Gopakumara offered obeisances and then he left that place, like that it is. But Gopakumara himself is saying this, I offered obeisances, left. Here that means Gopakumara is narrating this story to someone else. So those who we have discussed in the beginning when we started the discussion on Brihad Bhagavatamrita, how the story was being narrated by Gopakumara himself to a Brahmana from Mathura. And so this is just like conversation within conversation. So till now we saw the conversation between Vaikuntha Vasis and Gopakumara. Now Gopakumara is conversing with, that in turn means that is again being explained to that Brahmana from Mathura. So again this conversation is happening between Parikshit and Uttara. Parikshit is telling this to Uttara, his mother, after hearing Bhagavatam. He, in summary, he explains Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of Brihad Bhagavatamritam to Uttara. And again that conversation between Parikshit and Uttara is being discussed by Janmejaya and Jaimini. So Jaimini Rishi is the actual speaker of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And the author is Sanatana Goswami. So just like in Bhagavatam, conversation within conversation. At some places simultaneously, means there are Some 7-8 conversations are going on in Bhagavatam. So, like Narad Muni is speaking to Yudhishthira in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And that was in turn discussed by Maitreya and Vidura, because from 3rd canto onwards, Vidura and Maitreya Muni start speaking. Then that was discussed by Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit. And again that was discussed by Suta Goswami and Suta Goswami and sages of Naimisharanya. And in 7th canto of Bhagavatam, again there are conversations. For instance, Hiranyakashipu is giving knowledge to the wife of Hiranyaksha and mother of Aditi, Diti, mother of Asuras, because they were lamenting when. And then Hiranyakashipu quotes another incident, that Yamaraj in the form of young boy is speaking to that queen of Suyagya, some king. Yeah, King Suyagya. Queens of Suyagya, they were lamenting. So like that. And that Yamaraj also quotes something else. So this goes on. Conversation within conversation. So here Gopakumara is telling to that Brahmana. A moment before, Gopakumara had been offering prostrate obeisances. And now when he looked up, he suddenly found himself in Vrajabhumi. This left him bewildered. So here, basically that comment on that last word of the verse, Mukta Buddhihi, my mind or intelligence was stunned. So the commentary is on that verse. Why? Because suddenly he was offering obeisances to Shiva and Parvati, and suddenly he was in Gauma Vrindavan, Vrajabhumi, in Mathura. Thus ends the 3rd chapter of part 2 of Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamritam, entitled Bhajana Worship. Chapter 4, Vaikunta, the spiritual kingdom. Now we will go to Vaikunta. एकाकितानत्र भ्रमता मयास्य भूमे श्रियं कुत्रचित् अप्यदृष्टा संपश्यता वसतावनन्तः सर्वं विमोहादिव विस्मृतं तत्. I wandered alone, observing on earth a splendor I had never seen anywhere, taking up residence in a forest, as if in a daze I forgot everything from before. Who is he? I means Gopakumara. This 4th chapter describes the transcendental reality of Vaikunta and the appearance and qualities of its inhabitants. Here the word reality means, transcendental reality means, we should take it that as Tattva word, Vaikunta, Tattva. What is this place called Vaikunta? The chapter glorifies the deity forms of the Supreme Lord and extols the position of Ayodhya above Vaikunta and of Dwarka above Ayodhya. So basically here Vaikunta Lokas, then Ayodhya and Dwarka is being described. So now we were discussing the hierarchy of the places. The second part of Brihad Bhagavatamritam discusses hierarchy of the places. Now all the places in the material world, in the material universe are discussed already. So Gopakumara had come to the place of liberation called Mahakalapura, abode of Mahavishnu. Then So then he will go to Vaikuntha now. So in this chapter basically Vaikuntha, Ayodhya and Dwaraka in succession of hierarchy are being discussed. The first part of the chapter shows that Sri Vrajabhumi in Mathura district is superior to every other place in the material universe and even to the abode of liberation. When Gopakumara returned to the earth, he could see with his own eyes the special beauty of Vrindavan forest and the rest of Vrajabhumi. Now, when he says here, I wandered alone observing on the earth the splendor I had never seen anywhere. This doesn't mean entire earth he was roaming around. So it is basically Bhauma Vrindavan. So in that forest of Vrindavan, out of the 12 forests, so it's a forest. Vrajabhumi is a forest. And here and there some small villages used to be there. Taking up residence in a forest, as if in a daze I forgot everything from before. So he forgot everything. Nowhere else inside or outside this universe had seen such a splendor. Taking up residence again in the various forests of Braja, Gopakumara was so enchanted that he forgot everything, the associates of Lord Narayana, and told him about how to attain the spiritual kingdom of Vaikuntha. The very name of this district, Mathura, implies that it charms and agitates. Literally chants. Matnati. The root word Matnati, from it comes Mathura. The mind of everyone who goes there. Another point we have to, this is not actually just hierarchy of the places. The hierarchy of the deities which are worshipped there. But that has to be understood in a little intelligent way, in a more philosophical way, because it's the same Lord, but from rasa point of view, so again there is difference. So Achintya Beda Tattva between Lord and his expansions. How they are one and different. So from Tattva point of view they are one. That verse is there. Shidvantastva Bedopi Shisha Krishna Swarupayoho Rasen Utkrishyate Krishna. Again from rasa point of view, not every form of the Lord doesn't exhibit all the rasas. So to the degree of they exhibit all the rasas, their different rasas, so then to that extent, so the form is different from one another. So ultimately Krishna's form is original. Now Ayodhya is considered as higher. After Krishna, Rama was the one who exhibited more rasas. So his form is very close to Krishna's form. And avatars also, when they come in this world, they don't exhibit all the opulences. So only selective opulence, which is suitable for that pastime of that particular avatara and the mood of the devotees. So that's how Lord exhibits his opulences. Maniryatha vibhagena nilapita diviryutaha rupa vedam avapnoti dhyana vedat tatachyuta, like that. Shriman Madhupurim Krida Brahmanakramatho Gataha Tatra Mathura Viprebhyo Shosham Bhagavatadikam. In the course of my playful wandering, I came to Mathura, Sri Madhupuri. There I heard the Bhagavatam and other scriptures from the local Brahmanas. In the course of my playful wandering. So as he was wandering in the forests of Vrindavan, so he came to forests in Brajabhumi. He came to Mathura. There, so he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the local Brahmanas. By the grace of the Lord of Mathura, Gopakumar obtained everything he desired. Following the regular parikrama path, he eventually arrived in Mathura city. So here the commentary says, playful wandering, Krida Brahmana Kramato Gataha. So, but still he was following the proper path of parikrama of Brajabhumi. Now in the previous commentary, in the purport also we see that he took places of residence in different places. That means he was doing parikrama. So it would take many days, like here now also devotees, they do 1 month parikrama of Vrindavan. So they do 1 month parikrama like that. So he had to do parikrama and he had to take different residences. And he followed the proper path of, for parikrama there is a proper path. First you should begin with Snana Ghat. Snana Ghat is a place in Mathura where Krishna took bath after killing Kamsa. So parikrama begins from there. You take bath there, then go and take darshan of Janmastan, Keshavji there. And so like that it goes on. So in this way there is a proper procedure to do parikrama also, and he followed proper procedure. But if you see the word Krida Brahmana Kramato Gataha, so the word Kramataha in the course of my playful wandering I came to Mathura, Sri Madhupuri. The Kramata word in the course, it is indicating to time actually. If you see the literal translation here. But it also means the proper procedure of doing the parikrama. The proper course of doing parikrama. Then another point is Krida Brahmana. Krida Brahmana means it appears he was a small boy and he was just playfully roaming around actually. But no, he was following. But because the very nature of devotional service is playful, it is joyful, playful, it's like that. So just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains bhakti as prayers also. It's a shreyas. Bhakti in Taittiriya Upanishad or somewhere in one of the Upanishads, I forgot. So there is description about prayers and shreyas. Generally in Vedic culture, liberation is considered as shreyas, ultimate goal, ultimate benefit of life. So praya means that immediate material sense gratification, which gives immediate titillation, pleasure. So now here so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that bhakti is also prayers. It gives immediate happiness, immediate pleasure. In that way it is prayers also. It's not that you have to wait, just like yogis, they do lots of tapasya. In the end, they get their results and they become very happy. In the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, description of autumn season in Vrindavan, Mathura, there is description, 20th chapter I think, description of autumn season, 20th, 21st is Venu Gita. Anyway, one of the chapters there, 20th I think. So there is description there. There is one verse which says that just like yogis, they wait for a long time after doing their devotional service. Then they get their results of their yoga practice and they become very jubilant. So comparison is that season, because there is description of autumn season there. So comparison is made with, I think, after long summer season. So when first showers of rain come, people become happy, just like yogis, something like that. Anyway, I'm forgetting. So anyway, so bhakti is like prayers, immediate result also, and it is very joyfully performed, playfully performed. Even children can playfully perform bhakti. Like we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit was just a small boy and he was playing with the deities. Playing means, of course, we should not be contemptuous. So Prabhupada, he said that one disciple of Prabhupada asked question to Srila Prabhupada, how is that you also in your childhood, can we give deities to our children? Then Prabhupada said, no, I was trained, he says. Similarly, Parikshit was trained. So here also it seems that he was playfully roaming around in one, but he was trained how to follow the proper course of parikrama, although young boy. Therefore, I heard the Bhagavatam and other scriptures from the... Okay, so... Then devoted and learned Brahmanas of Mathura taught him the essence of revealed scriptures, primarily as given in Srimad Bhagavatam and few other texts that faithfully follow Bhagavatam on the science of Bhagavad Bhakti. What are the few other texts? There is a Gopal Tapani Upanishad is there. Bhagavad Gita is also devotional, although most of the commentaries on Bhagavad Gita by non-devotees, they don't reveal pure bhakti there, but ultimately it is bhakti, pure bhakti. Like if you study Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary and Madhvacharya's commentary, of course Prabhupada's commentary, Bhagavad Gita as it is. So everything will be discussed in terms of bhakti, devotional service to. And we see among Gaudiya Acharyas like Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, again and again he says, whenever bhakti scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, he says. Although there are many people like Lokamaanya Tilak, so his conception of Bhagavad Gita is you work like as so-called their karma yoga, which is vikarma yoga. Not even vikarma yoga, mostly vikarma. Okay, so bhaktim navavidam samyak jnatvedam vanamagatah apashyam sahasaivatra Srimad Guru Varam Nijam. After rightly understanding the meaning of devotional service in its nine forms, I came to this forest, and as soon as I arrived, I met my divine master. So, rightly understanding the meaning of devotional service in 9 forms, Navavidam, Bhaktim Navavidam Samyag Jnatvedam Vanam Agatah. So here the word Samyak word is used properly, because there are misunderstandings of bhakti, because most of the Sahajiyas, they completely misunderstand bhakti. Mayavadis, they misunderstand bhakti actually. So it is again and again endorsed in many places in the Shastra that we should understand bhakti properly before we do it. Or we should understand and do it. So, bhaktya shruti grahitaya. In Bhagavatam it is told. that bhakti should be done according to as it is delineated in bhakti, in Shrutis actually, in Shrutis. That means in Vedic scriptures. How that verse starts, Bhakti Ashruti Kriyate. Anyone knows? It's in the first canto of Bhagavatam. Then Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidim Vina Aikantikir Hare Bhaktir Utpataiva Kalvach. It's a very strong verse actually. So that is quoted by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's from Brahma Yamala, some scripture called Brahma. I don't know much about that scripture. So Shruti Smriti Purana Adi Pancharatrika Vidim Vina Ikantikir Hare Bhaktir Utpataiva Kalpate. Can you open some windows actually? More windows. So if we don't do devotional service according to the standard scriptures, then our devotional service is disturbance, utpata it is. Not only for ourselves, for the society also. So like Sahajiyas and Mayavadis, they do bhakti. So their bhakti is just like disturbance. So, and Bhaktim Navavidam Samyak, he also, so he learnt Navavida Bhakti. So, Jnatvedam Vanamagataha. He came to, came to this forest. So this forest means the forest in which now presently he is. He is basically near Govardhan. It's a Vrindavan forest. Near Govardhan, he is from that place. Now he is sitting and talking to one Brahmana. So, and as soon as I arrived, I met my divine spiritual master. Now we see every time. You are able to hear? Because you can come this side, it will be good. I can't, I don't have to shout so much. Every time when he comes back to his place from different parts of the world, creation, wherever he visited, again and again his guru meets. So from that we understand the importance, role of spiritual master. Even when we attain perfection in life. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the qualified Mathura Brahmanas, at last Gopakumara systematically learned the science of devotional service. He learned what is favorable and unfavorable to bhakti, or in other words, what a devotee should accept and what he should reject. So another point is that we may, so here to understand is that Gopakumara is, he has gone up to the place of liberation actually, and again he comes back. Still he doesn't know the proper devotional service. That shows that by the power of the mantra given to us, we may go to even spiritual world, but if we don't know the proper science of devotional service, then we will not be encouraged to stay there or encouraged to continue there. So we are sent back and again told to learn it properly, devotional service. So sometime we may wonder that why we need to read Shastras. So in this way we should know the science of devotional service properly before entering spiritual world. So that another point we come to here, how important it is training actually into the principles of devotional service actually. How important. Sometimes we may wonder why we are so much trained, so much training, why it is necessary. Because otherwise what will happen? So we may do Utpata even after going to spiritual world actually. Generally it may not happen like that unless we are perfect in bhakti. But sometime it may happen. The power of the mantra which is given is so powerful. Okay. This knowledge of Bhagavata Dharma enabled him to properly value the association of Vrindavan Dham and of that special resident of Vrindavan, his spiritual master. So another point is that every time he understands the glories of Vrindavan Dham, Braja Dham. So the stress here in Brihad Bhagavatam is to show that how Braja Dham is superior to all these places which he visited actually. And his pure devotee spiritual master who is resident of Vrindavan is how he is great devotee actually. So that is Purvavrad Rajamanoso Drashtva Mam Pranata Muda Shashirvadam Samalingya Sarvajño Krapayatharam. He appeared splendid just as before, and when he saw me lying prostrate before him, he joyfully embraced me and offered his blessings. Thus my all-knowing master showed me his extreme mercy. So here Sarvajña word is used about his spiritual master. Different Visheshanas are there. So here the word so Sarvagya is word used, and Puravat Rajamana, that word Rajamana is also, that is another Visheshana connected to his spiritual master. So he appeared splendid. So the devotees, they appear very effulgent, those who are because of their spiritual advancement, that Brahma, so spiritual effulgence manifests in them. So Purvavad Rajaman also, as usual, as before. So Samalingya, Sharirabadam. So and he completely prostrated before him, lying prostrated. So that means he was doing Ashtanga Dandavat here. So my all-knowing spiritual master showed me his extreme mercy. Sarvagyo Krapayat Haram. Sarvagya means he was all-knowing. Here all-knowing means not necessary that spiritual master should know every part of the Veda, but just by knowing Krishna, he knows everything. In that sense, he is Sarvagya. Of course, by that he may also come to know every Veda actually, but essentially he knows all the essential Veda, Bhakti Shastras. In all the time that Gopakumara had been away on higher planets, his spiritual master had not changed. So it was easy for Gopakumara to accept that the spiritual master was both an incarnation of Supreme Lord and a Rasika expert in the unique mood of Brajabhumi. The spiritual master showed Gopakumara complete mercy by teaching him enough about devotional service to lead him through the entire process up to the stage of full realization. Being omniscient, the spiritual master was competent to perform this service. Tasya prasadam asadya mahagudha prakashakam anvathishtam yathadishtam bhakti yogam manaratam. Tasya prasadam asadya. Receiving his grace, which revealed to me the most confidential secrets, I followed his instructions by practicing bhakti yoga without interruptions. So bhakti yogam anaratam, without interruption. So that ananya bhakti, unalloyed devotional service, like that. There are many words for this. Kevala bhakti, ananya bhakti, ekayana bhakti, like that. Shuddha bhakti, uttama bhakti. So that kind of bhakti he performed. So the point here is that Naishtiki bhakti is another word. Naishtiki bhakti, which comes in Bhagavatam, first canto, many places in Bhagavatam. So by the mercy of asadya, that word is used here, by receiving his mercy, tasya prasadam, by the mercy of the spiritual master. Of course we should put our endeavor, but ultimately it is dependent on mercy of Guru and Krishna. Anvishtam yathadishtam. So this anvishtam yathadishtam, I followed as it was instructed, bhakti yogam. So just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, Gaura Bihita Kirtana Shumi. Gaura Bihita Kirtana. Kirtana as it is delineated by Gaura, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not as we think, Kirtana, our own concocted Kirtans, bhajans, like that. So here also, Yathadishtam words, as it is instructed. Devotional service is the highest form of yoga because it is the means of attaining the world of Vaikuntha, and even more important, re-establishing one's own connection with the personality of God at lotus feet. Gopakumara now endeavored with all sincerity to follow this process systematically according to his Guru's instructions. Okay, next text. Sanjate na chirat prema purena vivasho bhavam na kartum asaktam kinchit param tham samakirtayam. Shri Krishna Gopala Hare Mukunda Govinda He Nanda Kishora Krishna Ha Shri Yashoda Tanaya Prasida Shri Bhallavi Jivana Radhikesha. Such a flood of pure love of God so quickly awakened within me that I lost control of myself. I was unable to do anything but chant the Lord's glories. O Shri Krishna, Gopala, Hari, Mukunda, Govinda, O Nanda Kishora Krishna, O darling son of Shri Yashoda, please show me your favor. O life of the divine covered girls, O Lord of Radhika. Now from this we understand, if we do bhakti properly as it is delineated in the scriptures, we get result very quickly. But if we do our own mental concocted bhakti, then what happens? We will not get the result. Sometimes it happens with us also. Although we may have come in proper parampara, we may have a proper bona fide spiritual master, but still we may be in mental platform. We may have our own conception of bhakti. So therefore our advancement, stops. We can't do much advancement. So we should give up mental concoction. and do devotional service as it is described in scriptures, as it is delineated by spiritual master, then we will make progress, and the result we will achieve very fast. And what was that result? That I was unable to do anything but chant the Lord's glory. Such. So what is the result of doing progressing devotional service? 24 hours you will be engaged in more devotional service or more chanting. Other day we were discussing chanting leads to chanting. Prabhupada, he was asked, why you chant Hare Krishna mantra? So to chant more, he said. And we should think that. In the beginning we don't understand this. We think that by doing devotional service, we are going to achieve something mysterious, something esoteric, maybe roaming in the grooves of Vrindavan, or imagining ourselves as Gopi or something like that. The result of devotional service is devotional service. Same thing you do in a more intense way and more in a spiritual body. Like in the Upadeshamrita, it is told that you should go and take bath in Radha Kund in a body surcharged with spiritual energy, like that, he says. Not that we may go in this body and dip in there actually, but we will not get the result of that. So the transcendental bath there, which is described in that verse. So what is the meaning of that? Now also we are doing devotional service, but when we attain perfection, we do it in a body which is surcharged by spiritual energy, like that. That is prema. Prema is nothing else. Prema means we don't have to concoct something, or same devotional service in a more intense way. We won't do anything else other than serving Krishna there. That is prema, that's all. So any service we do, we should think like that. This is my eternal service. Not that we have to do it like a tamaguna. 1 hour service, my eternal service means this. 20 hours I'll be there only. So I mean to say, that should be like our life and soul. This is what is my life and soul. So everything what we do, whether we are doing chanting, whether we are doing kirtan, whether we are doing any service we are doing, cleaning, washing pots, distributing books, like that. This is my life and soul. With your heart. Prabhupada used that term actually. Shraddha is where your heart is. He defined Shraddha as heart. It's a matter of heart, he says in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, in English term it is there, not. Maybe editors must have put also, that is all. Okay, so he was chanting all these names. O Shri Krishna, Gopala, Hari Mukunda, Govinda, O Nanda Kishora, Krishna, O darling son of Shri Yashoda, please show me your favor. O life of the divine covered girls, O Lord of Radhika, Radhikesha. Like that. On this visit to Vrajabhumi, Gopakumara quickly achieved perfection of prema bhakti. This prema so overwhelmed him that he was unable to do anything but to sing the Lord's glories. He could not even perform proper worship. To show his student how he was performing Nama Sankirtan, Gopakumara here chants a few of Supreme Lord's favorite names. His student, who is that? That Brahmana from Mathura. So he is speaking about his own realization too. Evam saganam bhavuda vayamstam kshanam pranrityam kshanam uddhamsha unmat tavat kamamitastatoham Brahmami dehadikamasmaran svam. Thus I called out to Krishna and sang his glories in various ways. At one moment I danced exuberantly. At another sobbed out loud. Like a madman I wandered here and there according to my whims, forgetting my own body and everything else. Anyone knows similar verse in Bhagavatam, which is considered as essence of Srimad Bhagavatam? So how it starts? Hasatyato roditi rauti gayat unmadavan ratyati lokabhaya. It begins evam ratasva priya nama kirtya jatanurago dratachitta uchay hasatyato roditi rauti gayat unmadavan ratyati lokabhaya. Our acharyas have described that this verse appears in 11th canto of Bhagavatam. So, second chapter, 11th canto, second chapter, verse number 40, 11 to 40, or maybe around that place, 39 or 38. I don't know. So this verse is considered as essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now you can open. So essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, our acharyas have told. Basically what we have to do, chant Hare Krishna in a regulated way and attain ecstatic love of Godhead. Sing, dance, roll, that is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was conversing with Mayavadis of Kashi, headed by Prakashananda Saraswati, their complaint was that you have taken sannyas in Mayavad Sampradaya and you have to study Vedanta. Instead of that, like sentimental people, you are singing and dancing, they said. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my Guru said, I am not, in a sarcastic way he said actually, my Guru said, I am not fit for studying Vedanta. That means he said, all of you people are not fit to study Vedanta. Kali Yuga people are not fit for studying Vedanta. So he taught me a verse, he says. What is that verse? Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama. Kevalam kalau nasteva nasteva gatiranyata. He said, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Then I started chanting the holy names. But as when I went on chanting the holy names, then I became mad, he says. So then he again goes to his Guru. What is happening? He thought that, oh, something is wrong with me or what? I am becoming mad actually. So, right or not? Either we may become mad out of some material madness. But this mantra was making him mad. Whether I am attaining the right result or not, one should confirm it actually. Like we were discussing, Bhakti means you may think that, you may start thinking, oh, I am hearing some sound in the ear, some light is on the scene when I chant the holy name in my forehead, or something else like that. But that is not actual bhakti. We have to confirm whether our realizations are all proper. So he went to his Guru again. He told, oh Gosai, what kind of mantra you? Kiba mantra dila. Karila pagala. It is making me mad, he says. Then his Guru says, Ishwar Puri, that you have attained the real result of chanting. Go on chanting. Then to substantiate his point, he taught him another verse. Which verse? Evam vrata swapriya nama kirtya jatanurago drata chitta uchay hasatyato roditi rauti gayat unmadavan nrityati lokabhaya. So if we are not getting these results after chanting, then our heart is Steel framed heart. What is that verse in the second canto? Steel framed heart. I am also forgetting. How it starts actually. So how it starts. Anyway, it's okay. You all understood. So he went out. There is another verse by Prabodhananda Saraswati. Who will tell that? So, forgetting the world, external world, we have to sing, dance. Hari Rasa Madhira Matta. That verse is there. You don't remember? I also don't remember. Anyway, I am also forgetting. Hari Rasa Madhira Matta, like that. Being intoxicated by the nectar of Krishna. So we have to forget world and sing and dance like that, it says. Okay, similarly here, Gopakumara, he has attained the essence of. Caught up in this state of pure love, Gopakumara completely disregarded external conditions. He wandered by calling on such things as, where are you, O mighty armed one? Caught up in this state of pure love, Gopakumara completely disregarded it. He wandered aimlessly like a madman, expressing his. So he is, you see the commentary here actually. Where are you? It's not that, oh, I saw Krishna, I was dancing with Krishna. No. This love of separation is considered as highest. So just like in that song by Srinivas Acharya about 6 Goswamis, the last verse, no? He Raje Vrajadevi Ke Chalalite He Nandasu no Kutha Goshantaviti Vrajapure Khedair Mahavivvalam. Same. Gopakumara is also wandering in Vrajabhumi. Where are you, Krishna? Where are you, Krishna? And the Goswamis are also wandering in Krishna. So one thing is that they say that love in separation is highest. That is one thing. And even on sadhana level, before we attain love of Godhead also, just like Sahajias think, they want to show off that as though bhakti is so cheap and Krishna is so cheap that they will come and dance. Krishna came and he was disrobing me as though their filthy body is very attractive there. Very attractive to Krishna. Like that Sahajiya mentality we should not develop. So even on sadha, in the beginning stage also, so you can see how our acharyas, they developed this Gaudiya theology, Gaudiya teachings that. So it also develops that, this love, this concept of separation from Krishna, it brings us humility in us, that how we have forgotten Krishna. So we are so far away from Krishna. When I will attain, and eagerness in bhakti, when I will attain Krishna. So like that. Like a madman, I wandered here and there according to my whims, forgetting my own body and everything else. Ekada tham nija prana natam pashan. Another example for that. Prabhupada taught love in separation. That example is there, that girl Saraswati, who was a daughter of Malti Mata and Shyam Sundar Prabhu. She had a deity of Krishna, or a doll of Krishna. Prabhupada, he hid that and asked Saraswati, where is Krishna? And Saraswati, because Krishna means for her that doll is Krishna actually. She was so attached to that. Then she was roaming everyone. First she went to her mother, where is my Krishna? Where is my Krishna? Then she goes to her father, where is my Krishna? Where is my... Then she comes to Prabhupada, where is my Krishna? And you can also see how perfect spiritual master was Srila Prabhupada actually. He can arouse such feelings even in small children also. So in that way, when perfect spiritual master, when we do perfect devotional service according to Shastra, we get a such result within short time. Ekada tham nija prana natan pashan ivagrataha dhartum dhavan gato moham nyapatam prema vipfalaha. Once I thought I saw the Lord of my life standing before me, and I ran to take hold of him. Overwhelmed by love, I fainted and fell to the ground. Praise Prema Vipvala, overwhelmed by love, explains why Gopal Kumara was behaving so strangely. Out of love, madness. So in what happens, even at the stage of bhava, one starts seeing the Lord actually. Time to time Lord appears to him and he sees the Lord. And in the stage of prema, one enters into the pastimes of the Lord. So, and often bhava is also called as prema actually. Although there is not continuous vision of the Lord, so you may be sitting and chanting and Lord will appear in front of you. So you are discussing Krishna Katha, then Lord will appear to hear your Krishna Katha. So like that, in bhava stage. Tavatthai parshadhairetya vaikuntham netumatmanah yanam aropita sadyo yuttayachchalayam drasho sarvam manya drasham drishtva vismitah Swastatam gataha parshve pashyam pura drashtam thanetatma priyam karan. At that moment, the associates of the Lord arrived in an aeroplane to take me to Vaikuntha. They at once put me on that plane and carried me away. And when I opened my eyes, I saw that everything was different. Shocked, I returned to full consciousness and saw them beside me, the same benefactors I had met before. So when he fell unconscious in search of the Lord, while trying to catch hold of the Lord, so he fell unconscious, and then when he became conscious, what happened? He saw that everything was different. He was in Vaikuntha and he saw those devotees whom he had met before, Vaikuntha Dutas. So then he understood that they brought me immediately from there to here. So I saw them beside me, the same benefactors I met them. So Than Evatma Priyam Karan here. So devotees are benefactors. So that benefit, Shreya and Preya we were discussing, they are not just benefactors. Some immediate benefactors who give Preya, they give ultimate Shreya actually. Devotees. Shreya Khairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Holy name distributes the ultimate benefit. Similarly, so devotees also, they distribute the ultimate benefit. Shreya. That verse is there in Gopi Gita. Thavakatamratam tapta jivanam. Then Kavibiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi Granantiye Bhuridajana. Bhuridajana. Tavakatamratam tapta jivanam. Your nectar of your katha, Krishna katha, is a medicine for tapta jivanam, those who are burnt in material life, in this material world. So it burns. Material existence burns actually. So it doesn't allow us to be peaceful at all. Always we are tormented by material desires, material conditionings. So this Krishna Katha is the ambrosial nectar for such material burnt life, burning material existence, tapta jivan. Kavi biriditam kalmashapaham. So it is all endorsed by all the learned people. Kalmashapaham, free from all material contaminations. And it is Shravana Mangalam, very auspicious for hearing. Srimadaatatam, full of spiritual opulences. So, Bhuvi Granantiye Bhurida Jana. It's distributed all over the world by Bhurida Jana, who are benefactors. Here word the Priyam Karan is used. So they are benefactor. Bhurida Jana also means those who do benefit to others. These are real benefactors. Just as Gopakumara's pure love reached its peak, the messengers of Vaikuntha came to bring him to their Lord's kingdom. They took Gopakumara unconscious onto their Vaikuntha vehicle, and while in flight he woke up. Opening his eyes and looking around, he was astonished to find himself in unfamiliar surroundings. So this is one reason why commentaries are written actually. The subtle intricacies which are not, if you just do literal translation of the verse, if you understand, try to literally, you won't get all these points. The subtle intricacies, they are more elaborated in the commentary. So often the authors themselves wrote commentaries to explain, elaborate more actually. To subtle. And this commentary is of course by Gopiparananda Prabhu, but it's mostly closely, it's a translation of Sanatana Goswami's Digdarshani itself. And Digdarshani, the very meaning of Digdarshani, there are many Digdarshani, it's not a name of a particular commentary, it is. Mostly Digdarshanis are written by the same author. So there are many Digdarshan. Jiva Goswami, for his own Sandarbhas, he wrote Digdarshani. Like that, many Digdarshani commentaries. So author writes Digdarshani commentaries. And this is another, this nonsense of this, especially now academic scholars, they are into all these literal translations without knowing the subtleties, So they give more importance to literal translation, which is for children actually. It is not meant for advanced learners in Vedic circles. Yeah. So they try to understand the spirit behind those verses, those words and terms and statements, and the subtle nuances, So literal translation is meant for children, those who are beginners in Sanskrit actually. Opening his eyes, and particularly these all great souls, their personal ecstasies, they are manifest in their commentaries, in their translations. They are called as Bhavanuvadas. They are not literal translation. They are called as Bhavanu. Bhavanu, translation in spirit actually. Bhavanuvada means the spirit behind that. Just like if you read in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, he says, Krishna loudly declares, and he quotes Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam. That means when Krishna spoke that verse, he spoke very loudly actually. So that Arjuna understand, this is what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. They have to understand this one verse. The whole Bhagavad Gita has to be understood according to this verse. And everyone in the world, everyone who was hearing that, they should also hear. They may, sometime while hearing, we miss many lines. At least they hear this one verse. Therefore, Krishna spoke it loudly actually. Often in Bhagavad Gita commentaries by our acharyas, they say that when Krishna was speaking, he was beating on his chest like that verse which is there in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He told, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, when Krishna spoke this verse, he was beating on his chest. So you declare that my devotees will never perish like that. So they bring out the subtleties, subtle nuances. That is called as bhavanuvad. But the stupid so-called scholars, they think, oh, literal translation is more important. Literal translation is meant for children, actually, not for those who are deeply steeped in the science of that Shastra. Okay, so here the point is, still he is in the flight actually. So we don't get that from the verse itself actually. We feel that, oh, he already reached Vaikuntha actually. He was certainly no longer in Vrajabhumi. The Vaikuntha Dutas, Gopakumara's instructors, had previously evoked in him the desire to see Vaikuntha and had taught him the specific methods for approaching Vaikuntha. Now by carrying him there, they were personally awarding him the success of his endeavors. So they were personally awarding. That's why they are called as Priyam Karam or Bhuri Rajana. And another point is that how quickly you can go to spiritual world is in a spiritual means actually. Piercing all the coverings, thick coverings of the universe, you just go there. Mahatejvasvinam tejo mushnato nupamam varam vimanam yogyam arudhan anirupyam surupavat. The plane upon which they rode was wonderful, incomparable, indescribable, beautiful, excelling in brilliance, the most powerful luminaries. Mahatejasvinam tejo mushnato nupamam varam vimanam yogyam arudhan anirupyam sarupavat. So you see in the Vedic scriptures, there are so many descriptions of such vimanas, some extraordinary wonderful thing, like in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. So Kardam Muni makes a aerial mansion. So by his yogic powers. But in present society, world is taught some history which in Eurocentric history or Western centric history, mostly it's a churchianity it is. So like in 19th century, so there was literal literature, what do you say, some English term I am forgetting. So literature deconstruction you can use. I was hoping for another word actually which didn't come, another word which I didn't get. So this Max Muller and all these people, William Jones, just to deride and despise Vedic culture, they were doing literature deconstruction. So Vedic scriptures are all bogus, all mythological, this, that and all. One side this was going on, and then other side, as this modern science emerged, they were deconstructing Bible and religious faith in the Western world actually. So there are three things which were going on actually. So simultaneously. It appears that now the world is, in the Western world also is divided between religion and science. So it is divided, but still science is very much influenced by Christianity or Churchianity. Many of the concepts in science are from Christian church actually. So the most of the things, like we see their concept of time actually. Just to give an example. So because Christians never had arts and sciences actually. Greeks had science. So Greeks had arts and sciences. So whatever we see now in the Christian world, Western world, whatever arts and sciences, ancient arts and sciences, they are all taken from Greeks actually. So many of the things they destroyed, Greek things they destroyed or despised them, derided them, but whatever they wanted to support their Churchianity, they took that. And in this way we see that, but eventually because they don't have arts and sciences, now because we are discussing about aeronautics or what is that another word is there, aerodynamics or whatever. So they didn't have this, and when scientists, they found out in 18th century, 19th century, 20th century. So it is said Wright brothers are the first one to make aeroplanes. But this is a Eurocentric idea actually, because last 1500 years the Western world is developing. They are so-called, because they destroyed all the previous, when church came into power, whatever they didn't like, whatever arts and sciences which disturbed their hegemony, so they destroyed them actually. Now hegemony means their control and dominance. So now everything, all the arts and sciences have to be again developed. So, and science, Western science did not develop as a part of Churchianity. It developed as a rebel against Churchianity. So if you see historically, after this Protestant movement, that Martin Luther, he rebelled against church and church leaders, that manifested in many ways, rejecting the authority of the church. Then arts and sciences started developing. You can imagine how Christianity suppresses, how religion suppresses development of arts, sciences, etc. So, but that is not right in context with the Vedic. So because the whole Varnashram Dharma accommodates all these ideas actually. So anyway, it developed. So then the Eurocentric worldview became dominant, because the previous arts and sciences, everything was destroyed. And in India also what happened, from 1,000 years of foreign invasions, so the existing arts and science went on So gradually Sanskrit study became nil. So by introduction of all this Western English education. So in this way Indian arts and sciences, they are also got destroyed. Then the Eurocentric world became dominant. So who is the first person to make or invent aeroplanes? It was Wright brothers. So BBC has made what is that? Some documentaries. The great days, which something like that, which shook the world like that, something series, some 70-80 video documentaries they have made. So like that, their idea. But here we see in Sanskrit, there is a Sanskrit literature called Bharadwaja Muni's Vimana Shastra is there, Vimana Shastra. So which was written by Bharadwaja Muni. So about all the Vimanas. Of course, this Vimana which is described here in Brahad, it's not even material Vimana actually. It's a special Vimana. You can imagine the plane upon which the road was wonderful, incomparable, indescribably beautiful, excelling in brilliance, the most powerful luminaries. So another advantage of point is Vedic Vimanas, they are not like polluting, causing pollution like this. They are not dependent on all these modern petrochemicals. So even Vedic Vimana, and what to speak of this transcendental Vimana here, which is described here. Now one argument which I would like to make here is that whether you believe or not believe, or whether you accept or not accept, I am not telling you people, you all accept, I know that. But this so-called rationalists, and all these so-called empiricists. So no, before there is no evidence that there were aeroplanes and all these things. If they say this was written long before Wright brothers, they invented, at least 500 years before. The very fact that someone has conceived that idea of some object itself is the evidence actually, that there can be such things, right or not? This was written 500 years back by Sanatana Goswami. Now Wright brother, whatever, I don't remember exactly when I read in childhood all these Wright brothers, when they invented. So many hundreds of years before he has conceived aeroplane. Before that, there was no concept of aeroplane in the Western world actually. They didn't have any idea that there can be aeroplane actually before Wright brothers invented. Whether we can practically demonstrate this Sanatana Goswami made, and they don't need to make all this nonsense. This is because, just like today I was hearing by one scholar, seminar by one scholar, Indian scholar. So he says, lot of mathematics was meant for Masons actually. That there is one whole Sulabha Shastra it is called as actually. It is just mathematics, but it is all meant for construction actually. Masons. So what we consider as very grand, there is a grand narrative about all these sciences and arts in modern society, which is meant for even very insignificant, means someone who knows how to put some bricks and some cement, mud for such people. It is not meant for such a highly learned exam. What we consider now as a great thing, inventing aeroplane it's not such a big thing. It's not so important thing actually in life. As important as spiritual realization, as important as conquering over birth, death, old age and disease. It's not as important as that actually. As attaining love of Godhead, all this we are discussing rasas in bhakti actually. This is too advanced. Even those who are spiritual path, those who are, those who forget about spiritual path, impersonalists and all, they are considered as neophytes in spiritual life. Even those who are Vaishnavas, for them rasa theology is too high, actually, what is discussed in this book actually. So the Bhagavatam focuses on rasa theology. Although these kind of things are described there, aerial mansion and all aeroplanes, demigods, flying from one place to another place in aeroplanes. So they are not so significant. But now those things have become significant in modern world, because world of fools. It is said, no? Where ignorance is bliss, it is folly to be intelligent, like that. So like that it is. If you speak about all this rasa tattva, spiritual life, God realization, self-realization, conquering our birth, people will laugh at you. Because when ignorance is bliss, when inventing automobiles, inventing aeroplanes, if that is only is the bliss, then these things will become folly. The aeroplane from Vaikuntha glowed more brilliantly than the sun. In the material world, aeroplanes, vimanas, also transport the demigods through outer space. But those material aeroplanes are nothing like the one Gopakumara and his escorts were riding. So now we have aeroplanes made with the help of Western science, with the help of our great friends, Wright brothers. They are very insignificant in front of the material aeroplanes which are used by Vedic personalities. And the aeroplane which is described here, it's even more exalted than, or most exalted than aeroplane used by Vedic personalities. How Vedic personalities aeroplane is better? So there will be no accidents, no air crashes, plane crashes, no pollution, air pollution, sound pollution, like that. No problems while we are on board, like there will be problems with the atmospheres, right, or not, in the environmental. So all those things. So in that way. But if you tell all these things, so in the Western world now, especially even in India also. So if you tell that, oh, we had aeroplanes, like in 2015 or something, there is this HRD minister in BJP government, he said that Indians knew something, he made a comment, and he was under tremendous attack by both Western academia and Indian academia also. They don't believe all these things, that Vedic personalities had all such things. So one major thing is for all these things is to, of course it's not so important to show all these things, but if you just revive Sanskrit study, everything will be revived, basically. If you just revive Sanskrit study. Although this is not the goal of Sanskrit study. Goal of Sanskrit study is to discuss what is Dvaita and Advaita, Vishishta Advaita. Siddhanta na boliya na kara alas. Siddhanta boliya na kara alas. Yah aite Krishna lage sadrida manas. Don't be lazy in understanding Siddhanta. So Sanskrit study is meant for understanding Siddhanta. That will attach our mind to Krishna. So basically to become attached to Krishna, that is the purpose of Sanskrit study. But these are all side. Just like in Bhagavatam, these things. Like here in Bhagavatam, it seems that this verse is glorifying. Why we need to describe the glory? Because it's a part of Vaikuntha actually. This is a part of Lord's opulence there. Actually. It's a glory of Lord actually. Like you want to glorify, then what you want to glorify? There should be variety. We are not like Mayavadis or impersonalists. That we don't need to discuss about the aeroplane. We are not like that. So these are all part of Krishna's glories actually. Therefore this Vimana is discussed, glorified. In this one whole verse is dedicated to that actually. The features of that Vimana, Visheshanas of that Vimana. Mahatejasvinam tejo mushnatonu varam Vimanam yogyam arudam anirupyam sarupavat. Another word is yogyam. Yogyam word is suitable. You can't go to Vaikuntha by your, what is that, Indigo or even, no, Indigo and all, these are all passenger carriers. There are other space vehicles are there, right or not? Like Chandrayana 1, Chandrayana 2, or Apollo 1, Apollo 2, Apollo 3, like that, there are space. You can't go there. Here the word yogyam word is used actually, suitable vehicle actually. Therefore Prabhupada he said, what to speak of going to Vaikuntha, even to higher planets you can't go in these vehicles. You can't go to moon by this vehicle. Prabhupada he said that. That's why he wrote that book, Easy Journey to Other Planets. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sadhu Sadhu Tadai Nati. Ana Mucho.